So it's back to me now for contributions. Before I jump in there, as Todd just went through, there's been a series of insertions, so 20.51 point sub point. If you, and how many people are familiar with the Queen's Printer website? Most? Okay, great. For those who aren't, that's the website the province has all of our legislation on. And it's free. You can go and you can download the legislation or stay on top of it. So the website is QP for Queen's Printer .gov.ab.ca. And on that website, you can just search by the catalog, and it has A through Z, and then you find C for condominium, and you go down and find it. But as of yesterday, I don't think the legislation had been updated yet.
The act is there now, the new act.
The regular, yeah. So just check on it frequently. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
when was that in? You printed it today? Okay. So maybe it's updated as of today. But anyways, the point is this. Make sure you're familiar with that, so that as we're going through all these changes and over the next year or two or three, don't be afraid to check the website. Make sure you have the most up-to-date version of the act or the regulations. Print a copy out, and just keep it in your binder as you go to your board meetings and whatnot. Moving on to contributions. This is maybe the item that gets me most invested in the process, because this is one we have to get right. Previously, this section was administrative expenses, and this is one where they had some legislation. And if you recall, about a year and a half ago, we did a postcard campaign through CCI about, hold on, let's not put this through, let's get it right. You may recall that. Here's where we landed. They're going to do additional consultation, so we're status quo for the time being. What that means is that a board may, by board resolution, set the amounts that the corporation will need for the administration of the corporation's affairs, meaning your budget. It also confirms that sanctions are not to be considered a contribution. Well, why does this matter, Hugh? The key is this, and this is the most important thing on the contributions, and we get later in the chargebacks. When something is a contribution, the way the law has been interpreted, that has priority in a foreclosure process over a bank, over a mortgage company. So if a property is in arrears of contributions and it goes through foreclosure, when that money gets paid, the contributions gets paid first, then the mortgage, then any secondary financing or encumbrance, then the rest to the owner. So what we want to make sure, if we jump to the next slide, what is a contribution? We asked for a definition of a contribution. We didn't quite get one. So where I think most of us land on what a contribution is this. Your monthly condo fees, your special levies, interest on those amounts, rental deposits, and depending when we get to chargebacks, we'll talk about potential exception there. You can place a caveat for chargebacks. Sorry, you can place a caveat for contributions. You cannot place a caveat for sanctions or fines. And it's through that caveat process that we get our notice to the owner, the notice to the mortgage companies, and our request for the priority as we go through it. So within our discussion of contributions, we have special assessments, special levies, which we know happen from time to time. I expect there's going to be some legislation passed on this. It's not currently passed, but there's some good ideas to take away from that in terms of your process. When you do a special assessment or a special levy, you need a board resolution in the minutes. Unfortunately, from time to time, when we go to collect on an unpaid special assessment and we ask boards for, can you show us the meeting where the resolution happened? We just talked about it, but it was never recorded in the minutes. That's a problem. So what we want to do is make sure we have a board resolution, and the board resolution is going to say, here's why we need to do the special assessment. Here's how much we're going to levy. Here's how we assessed it on the units, meaning here's how the bylaws set it out. by unit factors, or if you have a corporation where it's everybody pays the same, whatever your circumstance is, and the date the money has to be paid by. If you have a specific project-based item, like we're going to replace all of the gutters, I like the idea of a special assessment with several months' notice. Okay, that's going to cost everybody $430 approximately. You need to pay it to us by July. We're giving you notice in January. I like that instead of an increase in monthly condo fees, because I've never seen it where after that project is done, those monthly condo fees go down. Right? There's always something else to spend it on. So special assessments aren't always bad things. Next slide. So when we talk about the purpose of a special levy, the idea that we're paying for something unexpected or urgent, shortfalls in our budget, increase the reserve fund, payment of a capital improvement, or to satisfy a judgment. Something else you might want to put, or we recommend you put in your resolution or your information to the owners. Here's what happens if we have a surplus. So if we're raising $1.35 million and expenses come in at $1.31 million, what do we do with that shortfall? And state, okay, we're going to put it in the reserve fund if there's a shortfall. Or, as you can right now, say maybe we're going to rebate condo fees until that surplus is done. But just be aware of it, contemplate it, make it clear what happens, and then that way if there's a purchase or sale between when the assessment is paid and when the surplus comes in, you don't end up with seller and purchaser having to square off who gets that surplus or a share of it. So with contributions, make sure we're passing resolutions on our minute. This is our budget for 2020. It's in our minutes. Motion made by Charlie Brown, second by Susie Q. Motion carried. When we're doing a special levy, give us details of that special levy in the resolution. It's okay if that resolution is several lines long. Provide owners with the information. Give them a copy of the resolution. Give them a copy of the supporting materials. Give them the information related to the special assessment. Help inform them. And I guess include that or circulate that to your owners. Put it on your electronic platform, whether it's Tagondo or GeniePad or one of the other providers that do that. And let's just communicate to our owners. The more we communicate in these sorts of things in an appropriate way, the more we're able to focus subsequent angst and energy on solutions instead of just anger.